Oh, thank God. Apre il cielo. We made it. Yes. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. How are you?
Fine. I'm sorry, my problem here. I don't know why, but
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You were already forward with the drinking of the Ravera today, right?
So I have prepared class.
It's 6 p.m., so it makes sense, right? I mean, you're already drinking. It's still early for me. So, how are you, Walter?
I'm well, thanks. Thank you very much to host me here today. And I am really happy, excited to meet you through the Instagram. And I already missed you last week, the beautiful dinner that we have done together.
I miss you even more because I spent 4 beautiful days in the Langhe, and you treated me like a son, honestly, and I felt really honored. And we drank a lot of great wine, got great meals, and I was in the room with you. That's the tasting room, right? That's your tasting room.
Yeah, I'm in tasting room. Behind me, you can see a little bit the vineyards.
Nice.
Cascina Nuova, this one. So is the landscape is amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah, just put the camera straight, otherwise we see like on the side. Gira la telecamera, altrimenti.
Okay.
Okay. Great. So, Walter, today we are here to discuss a little bit the 2017 vintage in Barolo. But before doing that, you know, I wanna talk to you about Ravera. I mean, that's the crew, really Elvio Cogno. So your father-in-law, and then you and Nadia really took over, like in building the reputation of this great crew that now is getting better and better, making beautiful wines. But the crew of Ravera, or MGA as you call them in Piemonte, Menzione Geografica Aggiuntiva, is one of those. Is coming from Novello, which is not the most known, let's say, village in Barolo, but it's getting better reputation throughout the years. And please tell us more about, you know, Novello, Ravera, and the differences between these and other communes, and then we can talk of the 2017 vintage.
So we came here in 1990 when my father-in-law bought this beautiful farm located in Novello village. We came here for one reason, that my father-in-law born here and know very well the great potential of this area. Not just came here for opportunity to make business. So we arrived here, and thanks to him, honestly, I feel very lucky today to manage these vineyards that produce really unique Barolo. And thanks to our work in 30 vintages, we realized that here we are in a fruit that in the years became more and more important. We are in the southern area of Barolo area, a little bit cooler place than other crew, because we have a good elevation, around 380 meters above the sea level, and we manage a very profitable situation, because we have all vineyards located around the farm in one piece of land that surround this beautiful house. This is a 300-year-old house that we restored with passion and keeping the original architecture of the area. And so we are lucky because the vineyards are not so far from the winery. In this way, we manage really well the viticulture aspect that are essential to get a wonderful wine, especially with the Nebbiolo, because when we pick the grape, we crush immediately, don't spend too much time into the basket, and we crush immediately and keep the fruit, the fresh flavor of this grape. So we are in Ravera, we produce 4 Barolo that come from the same crew. So we have a project a little bit more Burgundy character, because we show the single plot that you manage, choosing also different clones of Nebbiolo. We have Lampia, Michele, Rosé. So we are very innovative in this side to talking about the clones. But the clones get completely different wines if you compare Barolo by side by side. We produce Barolo Cascina Nuova, Barolo Ravera, our flagship Barolo, Barolo Vigna Elena, Ravera Vigna Elena Riserva, and Barolo Bricco Pernice. Barolo Cascina Nuova is done with the youngest vines, around 18 years old. And for this reason, this wine is a little bit more approachable, is a character a little bit more postmodern. We take always in consideration the traditional character of the wine. We are doing wines in traditional way, using only large barrel and making long fermentation, more than 40 days on the skins. Anyway, our wines never show a too much tennis character. Always show a beautiful elegance, finesse, freshness, a very vibrant fruit that come from the altitude and the very fresh microclimate that we have here. In fact, in the night we have a great excursion of temperature, and in winter you have a lot of snow that come from the mountains, and that helps to have a fantastic reserve of water also in a warmer winter. Then we have Ravera. Ravera is made with the oldest wines, around 60-70 years old, and is made with 60% Lampia clone and 40% Michele clone. And this is our most important wines, because thanks to this wine, Elvio Cogno put the brand in consideration to the consumer and to the press.
It carries the name of the crew. Ravera is the crew that
you
put on the label for the first time in the early 90s, right?
1991, the first vintage, right? And this is a Barolo with great personality, a little bit more extreme wine in one side, because since 2017 we start to use the whole cluster in this wine in percentual, and this is a wine really really particular, because have a lot of identity and personality. In blind taste you can discover it's not so difficult discovering blind taste.
Mm-hmm.
This is aged in large barrel, Slavonian oak, not toasted, absolutely. The shape is done with the steam only, not with the fire, because we want to produce wine that has a lot of purity in it. And I don't like to have any makeup from the wood on the wine. So I love the purity of the fruit of the Barolo. And then we have a Barolo Bricco Pernice. We talked before about this, because Bricco Pernice is coming from the core of the Ravera crew. This Barolo is a little bit more classic in terms of style, because age 5 years, 1 year more. Here we have a little bit more structure, more body. In fact, consider this wine a more classic Barolo. This is Lampia, 100%, and is get from a vineyard quite old, around 50 years old, in South Exposure. I have 2 hectares, and the production is around 4,000-5,000 bottles only every year. So we are doing a really severe selection every year to obtain a exquisite wine.
So Walter, the important thing to mention here is that all as you said, that all wines are, all Barolos are made in the Ravera Cru. So these are all different parcels within the Ravera Cru, which because of the soil, because of the vine age, are the different expression. Also because of exposure, is different in every different parcel. So let's dive more into the 2017 vintage now, because that's the one that we are selling now. We are the one that was being released as the current vintage for the Cascina Nuova and the Ravera. The Bricco Pernice and Vignale, now we are still on a older vintage because that's released always later. So let's talk specifically on Cascina Nuova, the younger vines of Ravera, and Ravera 2017, which is the main flagship wine for you.
Yeah, the 17 on the beginning when we released the vintage, I heard a little bit not good things about the vintage. After 2015, the 17 was considered a little bit more difficult vintage, but for me it was a mistake because the vintage is quite warm, dry, but have a lot of finesse. And the tannins are very juicy and drink. It's a very drinkable wine. If I consider warm like 2009, 2011, 17 show much more finesse. And I am really happy about this wine. In fact, in this vintage, I start to produce a wood cluster wine that was not in good maturation. I cannot start in this way. So I am really happy of the vintage, and the Cascina Nuova, for example, show more flowers character, is very fruity, fresh character. Instead, there is more austere, but is really complex. And I am super happy about this vintage. And it's a wine that you can drink already now, but also keep in the years. And this wine became absolutely better.
Good. And I know, as you said, the 2017 was a warm vintage, a dry vintage. So you didn't make as much wine as usual. So we have a little shortage of this vintage. But do you think those are wines that, how would you compare like this vintage to, and if you have to think of any other vintage there lately, and how long do you think they can age wines like that?
They're 215, my opinion, but the 10 is a little bit more refined than 15. 15 is a little bit more dusty, the 10 is. It's beautiful too, and the fruit is a little bit fresher for me in 17 than 15. 17 is a vintage that was better than normal because we have a beautiful temperature excursion in September. Because if I consider the season that we had was very dry. We don't have too much rain and a quite dry winter. Anyway, in September we realized on a step that helps to have a beautiful phenolic maturation also in a vintage like this. So this is the reason that we have a very super fine wine.
Great. And yeah, I had the chance to taste the wines with you last week, and definitely they show this elegance that Ravera is achieving, has been achieving more and more in the last few years. And do you think is also the climate change is making like Ravera a more appealing cru compared to like 30 years ago when you started making a wine, or you think that's something that you see improving because also, of course, your experience now in dealing with Ravera has been improving?
So today is a really good question. Thank you, Alessandro. Today we have much experience and we manage really well the situation. And for sure, the global warming needs to the winners in a little bit different way. But honestly, I cannot say that today I am doing better wine we have a warmer microclimate in Ravera than 20 years ago. Just to change really our knowledge about this crew. And after 2014, I already told this, this aspect. After 14, I became myself really strong, and because the vintage was very difficult, but I have produced also beautiful wine in a vintage a little bit complicated like 14, because Ravera, after this experience, I consider that is a wine that can get beautiful wines in many different situations and conditions.
Yeah, it was the 2014 was a big task for you, and you succeeded.
Vintage. It was
in a good way, in a great way. So
right.
yeah. Cool. So let's talk like a few words about the 15 Vigna Elena and the 16 Bricco Pernice, because these are the other two Barolos that you mentioned you make, but it's not 17 because we always wait longer to release it.
Yeah, Bricco Pernice is 16 because of age 5 years, 1 year more. That's 100% Lampia clone, while Ravera is 60% Lampia and 40% Miquette. And Vigna Era is 100% Rosé. So this is a very unique characteristic wine. Vigna Era is 15 because it's a Reserva and age 6 years. Bricco Pernice 16 is, okay, 16, nobody needs to explain what is the vintage. It's super vintage. And Bricco Pernice is a Barolo that show a little bit different characteristics than Era 16, for example. Is more a little bit more dark in terms of flavors, because you find underwood character, underwood tones, and a little bit tea leaves. When you walk in a forest and you crash the wet leaves, you feel this note. Very complex, very complex. For sure, you feel also the fruit, the blueberry character, but you find a spectrum aromatic very with a full range of aromas. Vigna Elena instead is rosé, so is 15. This is Reserva. Vigna Elena rosé clone produce wine with a lot of aromas. It's very aromatic clone. And
sorry, but it's also the only Barolo made with 100% Barolo.
At the moment, yes. I know that there are other producers that today are planting rosé, but in the 1991 when we planted, we were visionary about that, and we are a pioneer, because in that years the trend was to produce superpower wine, dark wine, and we are doing wines a little bit clear in the color, but very complex and very feminine character. Is a really more Pinot Noir style character if you want to compare with the other wine. For sure, it's Nebbiolo and tannic wine, but is a wine that you can compare some vintages with the Pinot Noir. And this is age 6 years, because rosé needs a good maturation in wood and a little bit in bottle too. The clone rosé is the last clones that we picked. We picked the rosé 2 weeks later after Lampia. That's a long time, and sometimes the weather could be changed, and so it's a risky also to manage a vineyard like that. In fact, there are some vintages in past that we didn't produce.
Great, and it's almost truffle season, so those are all wines that are going to be very enjoyable with the white truffles very soon.
Yeah, this year I think will be not a great truffle season because the weather is quite dry, and we are waiting for a rainy day next week. At the moment, the health of the vines and the bunches are beautiful. But I would like a little bit more rain next week, and probably the maturation move a little bit forward quickly.
Yeah,
faster.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up on that and see how the last few days before harvest are gonna go. It's
So it's still too early to say
right.
how will be the
early.
vintage, but the previews are positive, positive.
Is there a little nebbia in the back?
Yeah, a little bit, because we have tramonto. You are the
Sunset.
sunset, yeah, and seems a little bit foggy, but not foggy, honestly.
Okay. No, because I mean, it's the time of the year where it gets a little foggy in the area. So
It's a little bit cloudy on the mountains.
okay. Well, if there's any questions for Walter, I don't see any questions. So, Walter, I thank you for your time, and this was a really quick catch up on what's going on at Travera, and mostly to talk about the 2017 vintage. And is the wines are showing very well. As I said, the sales are also going very well. So, thank you for making great wines and better wines throughout all these years, Walter.
I am really happy to you through Instagram, and I would like to visit you as soon as possible, because the screen is without soul, and
It's been too long. I know it's been too long.
So I need the soul to explain my wine.
Yes, absolutely.
I need to.
Yeah, no, I agree. So hopefully, in early next year, we'll be able to. So, well, thanks again, Walter. Thanks to all our followers, and I'm gonna remind everybody that to follow Elvio Cogno at Elvio Cogno. So please follow up with any questions with me or Walter. So thanks again, Walter, and have a great day.
Cheers.
Ciao. Cheers.
Grazie.
Enjoy.
My beginning, it was difficult to stay online.
No worries. It's fine. We made it. That's what matters.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao. Grazie. Ciao.